Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. You would think that politicians would be very good at lying. After all, they do it a lot. They're always telling lies. And somehow they're not very good at it. They keep getting caught out, don't they? They say things and then immediately these things are fact checked and they've been caught telling tales again. You know, the old noses grow on a regular, daily basis almost. But Swinney has now been caught out. Now, let's put some background here before we get into this. In Scotland, the crime of when you are a woman, can only be done by a man because it involves the penetration. So, when a policeman arrests a man for this particular crime, and the man says, no, I'm a lady, I identify as a lady, well, the police, under the current rules, have to accept that he is a she, and because he is a she cannot be prosecuted and charged with R. And this seems very weird. Now, John Swinney, and this is where the lies come in, he has insisted, and nobody knows why he's chosen to insist on this, that he cannot intervene in changing this, in Police Scotland's decision to accept this state of affairs. He cannot change the fact that Police Scotland are allowing those charged to define their own sex. And this is clearly wrong because Police Scotland have on many occasions, and it's been revealed this week, they have on many occasions requested direction from the SNP. And so Swinney, Dorothy Bain, they should have got into a little grouply huddle and made a decision. But they've refused to do so. Now, they've done this refusal, of course, mainly because they are moral cowards. They dare not make that decision. They dare not say, no, men cannot choose to be women to avoid prosecution, because that would upset that tiny, but very vocal bunch of weirdos and mentally ill men who want people to accept that, yes, they really can be ladies who were born men. Quite clearly a load of old rubbish. And yet this persists. Swinney, says it is an operational manager for the Chief Constable. The Chief Constable says it's a justice matter for the SNP government. This is what happens when an immovable object meets an unstoppable force. One of them's got to give, and I have a feeling it will have to be the Chief Constable, to be fair. However, research that's been compiled by the Public Policy Unit has said that it was shameful, shall we say, that no decision has been made. They said it's inexplicable why this is allowed to persist, as it denies justice and it is perverse. And it is basically creating a loophole that should not exist. Now, Swinney himself has been questioned many times on this and refuses to give a straight answer. He refuses to say whether he can intervene. This is lying by omission because, of course, he's the First Minister. Of course he can intervene, either directly or he can instruct Bain to intervene and make a decision as Justice Minister. There are many things he can do. He can't just sit back and go, oh, I'm not allowed, it's the rules, I'm not allowed to intervene. That's a lie. Yet again, Swinney caught up lying because of his lack of backbone. And generally, of course, because he's a liar. He likes lying. They like lying. They don't like the truth coming out. It's a habit. Never tell the truth. Because if you start telling little truths, then big truths might come out by accident. Whereas if you lie all the time, then there's no danger of the truth ever coming out, because lying becomes second nature. It's like breathing. But anyway, there was a report, I think it was last Sunday's Herald, and they revealed that MSPs were how can we say, the sex or gender identification of individuals was becoming a problem for MSPs, and they were starting to reject this sort of wokey virtuousness because they were seeing how this was affecting people on the street. In fact, that's not why they were rejecting it. They were rejecting it because they were seeing what was happening, the effect it was having on votes, and they're scared of losing. So all of a sudden, oh, this is an important issue. And they're pressuring Swinney, which is why they're asking questions at like FMQs and things, and why Swinney isn't answering because of that inherent fear of being criticised by the gender lobby. I think he's got more to fear from those who are gender critical. After all, 99% of the population. Pitch to your audience, man. Don't go and be wonderful and generous to the people who aren't going to vote for you anyway, and watch as nobody else does because you've annoyed them all. Sheer lunacy, isn't it? But the current position of the Scottish Government is that any man can choose and self-ID to be a woman, and the police will accept it. Now, this isn't even the law. And if you remember, this whole debacle was Section 35 a year and a half ago. And then they went to court, and then they lost the appeal. So it isn't actually law. And indeed, in law, you cannot self-ID. So the question is, why are Police Scotland accepting something that is not even part of the law? Is it because Police Scotland are very scared of being perceived as being bigoted? And so in order to not look bigoted against the little trans weirdos, they're just going to allow women to be hard by men who then claim are women. If that's the case, then Police Scotland are unfit for purpose, and the Chief Constable must resign, and Police Scotland disbanded and a new force imposed, because you cannot have a police force in place that is effectively aiding men who do these things against women. And you certainly cannot have a government who refuse to deal with it through moral cowardice. Now, what's the answer? Simple. Fire anyone. Ask every MSP. Are men men and women women, never the twain shall meet? Do you believe a woman can have a penis? Can you define what a woman is? Ask these questions. If they don't answer the proper way, don't vote for them. Doesn't matter what party they're in. All parties, don't vote for them. Vote for the ones who want to protect women, who want to protect children, who want girls to not live in fear of grown men exposing themselves or worse. And for a police force to stop enabling that to happen and protecting the perpetrators, because the police force don't have the balls to kick these people into the long grass and arrest them and send them to prison. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much. Bye.